everyone, this is CyberEric with another gameplay overview. This is for the game Dreams, from originally from PS4 and PS5, right? This is from Media Molecule, one of the Sony first-party titles. And Dreams is basically a player creation tool, if you will. It's also a game, but you can basically either dream surf, which is basically look for creations that people have made, or dream shape, which is basically you can actually create your own games, etc., etc. For the purposes of this, first of all, I would like to ask people to like and subscribe. I just appreciate it. But as I was saying, for the purposes of this video, what I kind of wanted to show is most of the like games that you can find within Dreams that other people have created. And I'll try to highlight whenever I can the names of the users here, so you can actually just pause, look at the creations. And again, there's hundreds, if not thousands, most likely, of games within Dreams. So I won't be able to tackle every single thing here, otherwise this will be like 6 hours. But for the most part, basically, I just kind of wanted to show you the menus here. Basically, you're going to be browsing around, look at different things. You can find a lot of things like Sonic, Mario, all that kind of stuff. And I'll showcase some of those games in a bit here. But you're running around browsing using the PlayStation controller, using the motion sensors, etc. For example, look at this PlayStation startup here. I'm basically launching the game straight from the beginning. You click on it, look at that, and you get the very nice audio for the PlayStation startup. Yeah, and that's basically what this is, right? Obviously, I'm about to exit just this now, just so you can see. But basically, I'm like, hey, very cool thing. That's all it is, right? Some other things can be as simple as that, and other things can be like complex, like a actual co-op RPG. But before I do that, I kind of wanted to show real quick the shaping aspect of the game, and that is basically dream shaping, which basically you have this little feature, character, whatever you want to call it, triangle. I forget what the name of this block is, but basically you're going to be running around. You select basically dream shaping, and it'll give you obviously a tutorial at the beginning where it basically explains how do you look around, how do you move around the map, how do you control different motions, and how do you move different blocks, and it'll go through the entire tutorial, etc., and then you can create things like side scrollers, first-person shooters, even if you want to, and anything in between. And again, there's a lot of tutorial that the game will give you. I won't go over it because again, it'll take too long for me to make this video, and I kind of wanted to showcase some of the games. But here's basically how the game looks, right? You just click play there, and it'll teach you basically how to move around in whatever creation you're doing. Yeah, that's mostly it in terms of the shaping. So again, I won't go into specifics, but they do have for example, last thing is like they have tutorials for how to create specific things, like the train set, 2D side scrollers, as I mentioned, 2D shoot 'em ups, dungeon crawler template, mini golf template, all those kind of templates. You can click, activate them, use them, etc., to your liking, and you can basically get a kickstart out of how to do that. There's even master classes, from the community, popular videos as to how to do it, different actions, characters, instruments, sounds, you name it. So that's shaping. But surfing is the most fun because this is basically a showcase of the different games that you will see, and the rest of this video is just going to be that. I wanted to showcase a bunch of the things you can find within Dreams, and some of the times I'll just be quiet, let you watch the game for a minute or so. But you can find all the different things. And the first thing I wanted to showcase is like, hey, there's a Mario game here. Let's launch it. So first of all, Super Mario. All right, so Super Mario, Heart of the Stars. This is something you can probably find like 20 different Mario games within Dreams. This is one of the first ones that I found, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play it and play it around, etc. And the art is pretty cool. It has literally like a tutorial how to play, right? And this is me showing you specifically how it starts. You launch it, and you immediately select a level. And you can basically go into that level. And here's basically the level right there. Yeah, and you have a star. And again, this is all made within Dreams. This isn't this isn't on PC. This is on the PlayStation, right? So basically you went around. Here's Mario. You got the different moves from basically Mario Galaxy. And you can move around, etc. It feels pretty solid. It's not 100% as precise as a Mario game, right? But it's good enough, trust me. Like, it really is a very, very well made each 3D platformer. Particularly because obviously this is free within Dreams. You would have to buy Dreams. You can then play these kind of things. And it has multiple levels. You can get to play around. yeah, again, yeah, there's all these kind of features from the game. There's different blocks. The way things behave won't exactly be like the Mario games. Like grabbing hitting some of the blocks, moving around. It's not gonna be as precise, right, as a Mario game. But again, this is all made within Dreams. Look at this little, very cool Mario Galaxy animation there. And all very cool stuff. Some of the blocks, I don't even know if there's mushrooms in it where you can go up and down. I forgot. Playing this, but again, all made in Dreams. But again, pretty cool. It has little checkpoints from Mario, and you grab the little flag. Has toads or right all over the thing. It has these little things where you grab the different star icons. You have different blocks where you can smash going down, and you can even have these very cool things where you basically can walk on a wall and basically have mechanics. You have the red coins, very popular thing for Mario games, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's it mostly for this. I'm just gonna let this run for a couple of minutes, for like a minute, so you guys can just see just the gameplay of this Mario game, and then I'll come back. Alright, so that's mostly it for this Mario Heart of the Stars thing. Again, there's actually 4 different levels if you want to play it, and there's different stars within them, so pretty substantial. You can even switch as Luigi if you want to play as Luigi. Again, pretty cool thing. It's like a mini Mario game. It's right in there in Dreams. You can go around, play it, find it out. Here's basically the creators. Just wanted to kind of show it in a second, just to show the credits. And again, yeah, credit to them. They made a very impressive Mario-ish game within it. So let's move on to something else. And by the way, click here. Here is, I'm not monetizing this video, so I clicked on yes for this particular thing, but it's because you can even put music in, like actual legit music, like recording artists' music in some of the games. One of the things I saw was the Sonic game. And again, they got the whole Sega, so-called Sonic Breeze. So let's go over this Sonic game that's in Dreams. And again, Sonic has a bunch of games as well in Dreams. There's like 20, like Sonic and Mario might as well be Dreams creators for this kind of thing. So this Sonic game, let's see how it looks. You start up with Sonic, sitting in his couch. You have like basically like a demo tutorial, right? Demo for the prologue, etc., etc. I don't know how many levels it has. But basically, there's like a little hub, and you basically go into different zones. In here, I'm gonna go to zone. Or the arena, and there's different levels. I'm going to show one of the main levels, which is kind of like one of those grass levels from Sonic 3D. And when you select that, you basically have the little icon there, and then you start out, and there's Sonic running around. And again, it's pretty quick. It kind of controls like a little Sonic game. It doesn't control particularly precise, but again, Sonic 3D games have never been as precise, so I bet you this is probably still as good, if not, than some of the worst Sonic 3D games. I'm looking at you, Shadow the Hedgehog or something else. I'm drawing a blank on some of the worst Sonic. Oh, Sonic 3D, or was it Sonic 2006 or whatever it's called? That one was really bad. This is probably better than that. I'll be honest. It wasn't horrible, but it also feels a little bit weird, particularly the movement. But again, like for example here, I basically just crashed on the wall. It doesn't have like the sticky feel, but it worked. Let's look at other games. Let's look at Astro Bot. That's one of the things where as soon as I saw it, I'm like, ooh, they have Astro out here. Obviously PlayStation. Obviously Dreams. Let's see what they created. And if you look at this footage, this is extremely close to what an Astro Bot game would look like. If you have played Astro Bot or the VR one, or the free one that came out with the PlayStation 5, you'll know that this looks extremely close to it. And like, this is one of the closest, extremely accurate towards the original game. This played very well. It felt smooth to play. It felt like Astro Bot. This was amazing to play. Again, the little icon robots, etc., etc. When you kill them, you get the coins. And there's different level, there's different aspects of the level. You have the little cases there where you got the coins in there. All very precise, the checkpoints, etc., etc. It controls very well. Look at this here, me trying to run around, trying to not get hit by these things. And this is precise platforming. This is me trying to basically control it. And I was like, damn, this controls pretty well. So again, just wanted to kind of showcase this one, this Astro Bot game. Again, if you wanted to play a little bit more Astro Bot and you don't have enough, go launch Dreams, play this one. And there's probably more than one. It is the one that I found. There's probably multiple or things for Astro Bot, but again, this played well. I mean, it's glitchy, of course. It's not gonna be super precise. For example, here I basically bypass the main route to go to the corner, but it works. So again, I'll leave it running so you guys can kind of just hear about it a little bit more, and then I'll go over to the next game. Alright, so that was Astro Bot in Dreams. So let's look around. So here I am basically exiting the creation tool, exiting back, running around, seeing what else I can find based on popularity, recommended, etc., etc. And look what I find here. Masakasu Fantasy 2. Think about it, basically it is Final Fantasy 2, the OG. I don't know if there's any 3D RPGs that are that deep into Final, but you get a Final Fantasy. There is a Final Fantasy in this game, in the Dreams. And I'm gonna showcase it real quick here in terms of like, hey, very classic, 2D, old school, Super Nintendo or NES, whatever, however old these games are, RPG systems. You get different rooms, you get to walk around, talk to different NPCs, and you get to run around in dungeons, and you get to run around and basically do the combat. And here's the combat, for example, just to kind of show it off a little. And again, very basic, very standard, old school RPG. If you need to try something, go ahead and try it. I'm not much a fan of this old school RPGs, but I still thought it was very charming in terms of like what it has, etc., etc. It has their whole ATB system for attacking, right? Where you have to wait until the ATB bar gets full before you can activate your next attack. And you got different magic, different characters, mages, healers, tanks, etc., etc. And hey, it's a semi-small mini RPG, all within Dreams. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, next is Spiderman, or basically a simulator of the web swing. And this is an extremely good simulator for the swinging. Obviously, it's not a full-on Spider-Man game. They can't create this in Dreams, not to that size. But this actually is a pretty good wall crawling simulator, right? And I just thought it was charming, so I wanted to showcase it real quick just so you guys can see. Alright, some of the other things. Let's look at our first-person shooter. Let's look at Call of Duty. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to look for a person shooter, let me look what Call of Duty is. This doesn't function as well in Dreams, right? A first-person shooter, as precise, right? Call of Duty has been doing forever. It's huge. But this does have like a zombies mode, multiplayer mode. I don't know how that would even work. I just launched the zombie mode to kind of test it out. But it is a first-person shooter. You get to run around, aim the gun, buy the different things if you have the money based. If you ever played Call of Duty Zombies, you kind of know what it's asking you to do. You can aim, get headshots, etc., etc. Reload, and yeah, it functions. It's completely playable. It's not really a top-notch, obviously, first-person experience, but hey, somebody created this. So props to them for creating this in Dreams. I'm betting there's probably other first-person shooters that people have created. I saw a couple of Doom ones, so I'm assuming Doom is also recreated here, but let's keep browsing around. There's a bunch of other things that we can see. So this one's kind of cool. This one's more like a Jurassic Park simulator kind of thing. So I kind of wanted to showcase it because I thought it was pretty cool. In terms of very short, it's more like a little mini 3-minute movie, and I'll leave it running at the end there so you guys can just hear it and see it. But it's basically if you've ever seen the movie Lost World, even though I'm calling this Jurassic Park 2, right? It's the moment where the T-Rex is running around the backyard of the family, and it eats the dog. I'm assuming it eats the dog because he has the chain stuck in his teeth at the end of that movie. But and that's like a funny-ish scene from the movie. But this is kind of like a recreation of if you were in the backyard, what would it look like? So I'm just gonna leave it rolling. I'm gonna be quiet so you guys can hear it. But this is something you can play. And just a reminder, Dreams can also be played in VR. So I'm assuming this would play a lot better in a VR setting. This would be one of those things that if you have VR and you have Dreams, I guess PSVR 1, try this. We're here. Okay, let's finish watching this. Alright, let's exit this Jurassic Park thing. Let's keep browsing. I'm trying to do this as positively in real time as we can. And again, there's some of these kind of games. I can't even read all this stuff, like Bullet Sponge. Kind of guess what that is. There's another Sonic game right there, but I saw this and I immediately had to jump on it. I'm a huge Captain Toad fan, particularly because I like puzzle games like this, very cute, very charming kind of puzzle games like this. So when I saw they had a Captain Toad, I'm like, well, I'm gonna launch this and I'm gonna play. And this was great to play. Very, very charming, very simple. It is Captain Toad. If you haven't played Captain Toad, it was from the Super Mario 3D World games, because those are mini games there. Or the only game that has come out for Captain Toad in terms of the Nintendo Switch. And this is basically very similar. You're running around, you have different levels here, but there's multiple levels in this little mini game in Dreams. For example, there's this like underground area, you got these little enemies, you got the coins, right? And you're basically running around the map, and you get to spin your camera to make sure that you're not missing anything, while Toad basically just walks slowly and walks around. Again, very cool Captain Toad minigame or micro game, and that you can find in Dreams. And yeah, you can get stuck sometimes. So all these Dream games don't really are super polished, right? They're created within a system. Let's look at Grand Theft Auto. I saw this as well. Again, this is not a full Grand Theft Auto game. This is more like a little mini 2 blocks for a Grand Theft Auto game. But it functions particularly well for example, Grand Theft Auto 3. Here I'm trying to enter the car and he's just glitching. But once I, flip the car with my might strength, I basically can run around, you can drive. It feels pretty good, like what I remember Grand Theft Auto 3 being back on the PlayStation 2 era. It controls very well. I mean, it's a Grand Theft Auto game. I thought it was very impressive that somebody just created this in Dreams. So I wanted to showcase it. For example, you can also have combat, you can also run around and fight enemies, right? And you get stars so that the police will come and hunt you down. So I'll show some of the gunplay here in a second. Yeah, but this is Grand Theft Auto in Dreams. All right, let's look at this one, PT. I think this was called Playable something. I forgot what it was. If you don't know what PT is, PT was a very famous demo that was released from, I think it was Guillermo del Toro. And it's like a horror game that they were making with Kojima that was going to be released for the PlayStation. It never came out. The demo was released though, and it was a short demo, but people went crazy where if you had the demo, they took it offline, so the demo basically was unreleased, if you will. And I'm looking at you, Concord. But the demo basically became kind of like a cult following, where right now, if Konami wanted to release, or whoever was creating PT at the time, they wanted to make a game called PT and make it like a horror game like this, it would do well just because it's brand recognition. But yeah, PT is recreated in Dreams completely, from what I can tell from start to finish. Here's I'll be quiet so you guys can see. Alright, again, other creations. Again, I could have kept going this video. This video was long. It's like, we're like at the 20-minute mark now. There were other creations that I found. For example, here, this is kind of like a... I'm going to date myself by calling this Blinks, but it's kind of like Super Lucky's Tale, only with a little kitty. Right, but it's like, you have little 3D platformers. They're fun. Here's the creator if you guys want to follow it or find this game in Dreams. Right? It's called Trips Boyish. It's a nice 3D platform. It exists. It's in there. Here's an action RPG that I actually showed at the very beginning in terms of like the icon. And you basically run around and you have different powers, different characters that you can select. You basically manage your mana, run around. It's apparently a co-op RPG, so you can actually play with other people. I'm assuming there's not many people playing on Dreams, right? Of course. But hey, I thought it was kind of cool, very charming. Again, does it function super well? No, look at the enemies. They're as dumb as it gets, right? But hey, it works. This was great. So this was my overall showcase for Dreams. I kind of just wanted to make this video because I started playing this, and I'm like, this would be fun to do. But that's the end of this video. Thank you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please appreciate it. And as all, have a good one, everyone.